Welcome back to the Supercar Connection Podcast. Back in the stew, as you said.
Back in the stew.
When you hit 200, you have 33 miles, like 30 to 40 miles, and they're ruining it.
I played this game. I did exactly this. About it too. So
Okay, about that question.
yeah, like, I normally do. You ask me a question, I always ask you parameters.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna
of
ask you
course.
parameters.
You're gonna
again.
carry the question.
Yes, I am gonna carry the question.
Classic. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Stew Supercar Connection Podcast. Just me and Joe here today.
We got Gavin saying stew now. It's lit.
You fired up about that?
I'm super fired up about that.
So no guests. I'm 200 milligrams of caffeine deep, so I'm chilling. You're on your way.
Yeah, I'm on my way there.
So a ton of stuff has happened. We're going to get into a lot of updates.
Hell yeah, we are.
Supercar Connection. But I want to start with a question. Shout out Jaff. I know you're either working or you're hitting the treadmill right now while you're listening to this. He asked us one of the best car questions, or one of the most difficult car questions I've been asking a long time while we were in Miami.
Yeah.
So I want to just ask it now because I still don't even really have an answer. So if you're listening, you can think about this. Maybe it's easy for you. Maybe it's impossible. If you had a $500,000 budget to build your garage, and there's not like a set number of cars you have to buy. It's not 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars. However many cars you want that you can fit in that budget, that's your garage.
It's such a difficult question.
Because there's so many directions
And combos.
you can go. And
really
combos. It makes it really hard. So I can give you my I think off the rip first
I think you've had more time to think about this.
thoughts. And I mean, even then, again, I feel like the more I think about it, the less I even really have an answer.
Hit me.
If that makes sense.
It does.
I'm going to just start with a 600 LT because that feels like at 200,000, there's nothing better.
It's a staple.
It's perfect
Bargain.
for what you're getting at that price point, and that still leaves you with 300. So we're going to go 600 LT at 200. And then I want to slide in an M3 comp. Call it 80.
I don't know the market well enough.
We'll call it 80. Not new.
I'll give you 80.
Because we don't throw money away.
No, we don't make bad decisions here on Supercar.
So we'll call it 80. I'm at 280, and I got great options.
Yeah, you got a killer two car lineup already.
I got when I'm just driving every day, and then when I want to, I've got that. So next up, it's like I could squeeze a 991.2 GT3 in there,
Yeah, you can.
and that's under 500. M3 comp, 991.2 GT3.
What are you left with?
600 LT.
How much is the?
I'm
GT3
left
going
with
for?
maybe 30 or 40 grand.
Get a 4C and just call it shits and gigs.
I'm just gonna up my specs.
Okay, bet. So you're getting the highest specs.
I'm
possible.
getting a higher. So instead of 200 for the 600, I'm gonna go 215.
So I think the problem with mine and the comparison to yours is I need some type of SUV, so I'm factoring in that into it.
Well, you don't need an M3.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd just rather have an M3 than an SUV. So
That's like your grocery getter.
yeah,
Okay.
I just don't. I have zero desire to drive an SUV unless I have to for some reason. But there's very rarely reasons I have to drive an SUV.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
So M3 for me.
This is difficult as fuck. All right. I think I'm going to have to rip a C7 Z06 for just the sheer bang for buck out of it. So I'm ripping what we call it 70.
So you have 430.
Okay. Then I'm going to probably do crap. I'll do a 720S Spider because that's my secret favorite car that I'm now admitting over everything. So that, what do we call it? Can I get 225 with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So what does that put me at? I got another
You're basically at
210.
You're basically at 300.
300 right now?
You could call it 210, but you're at that 200-ish mark.
Okay.
You know what's there.
Yeah.
There's only so many things.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I divide into a bunch of different stuff. So I think what I would do is, fuck man, it's such a difficult thing. It really is. I think honestly, fuck it. I'm not going to do anything. I think, can I get my car for 300?
Your car?
My A12? Can I get that for 300?
I don't know. You tell me. Can you
Like,
get that for 300?
I technically can, like, if we use all of our resources and like get it the way that if like you and I needed to get a car, like right now, we could get it for that price. Yes.
You could?
Yeah. I think a wholesale bid on my car is that price.
Okay.
I don't think retail they're that low, but
No,
they're
for sure
maybe
not.
like a $10,000, $20,000 distance. So the wholesale they'd be there.
Okay. So you're backtracking. Now you're going 300.
Yeah.
You had 200 left.
I was at 200? No, 720S Spider plus. Oh shit, I'm tripping. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
my bad.
you
I'm
have
fucking
200
tripping.
left.
I thought
You
I said I had 300 left. My
Yeah,
bad.
good-
That's my fault.
Good luck.
Okay,
Also,
my
you,
bad.
you just totally skipped the SUV you supposedly needed.
That's what I said. I was I'm going to skip the SUV
Oh, okay,
and I'm going to
okay.
get an 812.
Yeah, not enough money
Okay,
for that.
my bad. All
Back
right.
to the bank for you.
So with 200, fuck, I don't have a lot of options. And I don't want a 600 LT because you have it. So, because if I need one, I'll just go walk over and take yours.
That's the game you're playing, huh?
Yeah, that's the game I'm playing. There's not a lot better in the 200K range that I would want.
So I can just come take your A12 when I want to?
Yeah, 100%. Actually, you can. If you want it for a weekend, yeah, I'll take the Aston for a weekend. I'm fine.
Sure.
You got to test run drive the 812 before you take it, though.
I know. I can't believe I haven't driven it yet. I was thinking about that earlier.
That car is fucking.
I haven't even ridden in it. Just seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how much working we've been doing? Did we just work to the point where we don't even have time to do that? The
Yeah, that's
720
usually how
you
it
rid?
goes. That's usually how it goes.
The Aventador took a minute for you to drive, even though.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was because we were so busy all the time, and I didn't want that to be like an in-passing, I just jump in and go down the street and back. Like, I wanted it to be
An experience.
an experience.
Okay.
So I put that off purposely until we had time to do it right. This car, I'd do a lap just for fun, but it's just been like, you know?
I got my answer. I got
Okay.
my answer. I would do a C8 Z06. Okay. And I know I have two Corvettes in there, which is kind of crazy, but they're two different purposeful Corvettes.
Sure.
Because it's in my mind, it's like getting a 458 on a budget type thing. So I get that type of driving experience for a cheap.
So now you got like 80, 90K left.
Yeah. And I would do an X6M.
You can do that?
Yeah. You can find one 80, 90K.
Yeah.
Like 25, 30K miles. You can
Okay.
find one. Yeah. Because I've done this before.
Okay.
I like that car a lot.
Yeah.
Like I always kind of, that's kind of the car that I always go, if I just feel like in an impulse buy, I can go buy that car. Because I really do like that car.
Fair.
So I got an SUV type thing. I got my Z06 458 on budget. I got my personal like favorite, like I'll take that car out all day, 720 Spider. And then I have the C7 Z06 that's just a madness. And then if I had any room left, I would just mod the C7 Z06. With whatever money was left, I'll just dump it, cam the whole nine, just make that car a freaking chop monster.
Because here's another option for me. You ready for this?
Another different structure to the layout.
Huracan Perf.
Okay.
Can we say 300?
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Huracan Perf at 300. 991.1 GT3 at 130. So now I'm at, what, 430?
Yeah.
So I got 70.
Yeah.
So I could squeeze another M3 for 70 again.
Yeah. I give that to you easily.
Yeah.
That's still not a bad garage lineup.
No, I just made a little tweak. I took an older GT3 and swapped the 600 for the Performante.
I think the only other combination that I would do that I think is worth doing for me would be I do like an Aventador S Roadster this time. That's like, I think right now those like you can get one like 350, 400, but like I think 350 is fair. And then I would probably do, if I needed to make it like a true 2-car lineup, I would do an Escalade V, the new one with the fucking dash and everything like that. I think that'd be a pretty nice lineup. Or if I don't want to go the SUV route, I would just slap another Z06 in there.
Yeah, you can do 2-car lineup really easy.
Yeah. Or you want the real sleeper? The
Hear it.
real sleeper? ZR1 and a 600 LT.
ZR1. Oh, the new ZR1.
300K. That's what they're trading for. I got one offered 205 sticker, 100K over. 45 days it lands.
100K over.
That was the first one that I got
Right
offered.
off the rip.
Right off the rip. Like it literally 205
Well, I mean, I
sticker,
think dealers were doing that with the Z06, so it's not that shocking, I guess.
but it's a 300K car.
You're seeing 100K addendums on the Z06.
Crazy. And the thing is, it was the same thing because even the Z06s, when they were like 200, they were 100 over, and those stickers, like a 100K sticker, or what is that? Like a fucking 115, 120 sticker, and they were getting to 200K. Those are low stickers on those cars. The 205 sticker on the ZR1, that's a low sticker on that car. That's like a couple options and anything. And so they're talking about a low sticker ZR1 is 300K.
Dang.
So I would get that and throw a 600 LT and call that a 2-car lineup. So you have your car that can't lose to anything else out there, and then you're driving your fun little wear driving car.
Yeah.
It's not a bad combo.
Well, I wonder what an M5 CS goes for.
I think that's mid-hundreds.
Yeah, like
without doing any
150?
research. Yeah, without doing any research, if I remember the market correctly, I think that's what it goes for.
So 150 and 350. Can I go STO and M5 CS?
You can.
I think
that's actually perfect.
I
range.
think that's my 2-car lineup.
That's it. That's not a bad 2-car lineup at all.
Hey, I got a 2-car garage. Stick them. That's what. And I got 500,000 STO M5 CS. That's another lethal combo right there.
It's not bad.
What else do you need?
For you, nothing.
For me, nothing. Exactly.
I just know myself that if I, like, for example, if this was eternity and we just have to ride this out,
it's not eternity.
I'm saying like in the event that we could never switch up the lineup, like we're picking this and we're done.
Yeah.
I would kill myself if I didn't get an SUV.
Well, I can't go 5 minutes without switching up the lineup. So.
And this is 500K. It's difficult. If we lessened it to like 300, this shit would get crazy.
I feel like you lessen it, it gets easier.
You think so? For me, it gets more difficult.
There's fewer options.
Well, because what happens for me is
the lower you make it, the more you get cornered into certain picks.
I want more though. So like I would not pick like all the supers, like I would just dump them, and I would start picking multiple combos with 100K cars.
So
that would be the problem.
If you had $500K budget to build out a garage, what would you pick?
Which garage did you like the best? One of Gavin's or one of mine?
Yeah. So okay. So 300,000. What does that make you? Where does that put you? Because for me, I feel like I can do that low key, easy.
Really?
That's just a 600 LT and an M3.
And it's that simple. You don't even think twice about it.
What else am I doing?
I think for me, it's the SUV factor. Like I want 2 nice cars and an SUV, and I'm trying. So in my mind, I'm trying to put that in that budget, and it gets fucked. But okay, let's do that.
You gotta go. If you're lessened, you just have to go RSQ8.
Exactly. So I'll do RSQ8
and call it 100.
Two and exhaust. You can do that for 100 because you can get the car for like mid 80s, and then the rest of it's like 15 grand. So let's call that 100. Then I think you can get a C8 Z06 for 100 without checking the market. I think they're right around there.
You might be able to.
I think you can, like a lower spec one, whatever. So that leaves me 100 now.
One that's a bit cooked already.
Yeah, exactly. One of higher mileage ones, whatever. Again, their cars are semi-reliable. So with that last 100, what the fuck am I doing though? Because I got my...
Dude, the C8.
I got my SUV.
Something to say about the C8.
We'll talk about it right now in a second. I think with the last 100K... Can I give you a sleeper one?
Yeah.
V12 Vantage.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
That's a good pick, right?
I mean, that's been in the back of my mind of like, how do I slot this in? Because 90K, you get a V12, you can make it sound so crazy. And it's such a, like, the V8's already such a great car. Everything I see about the V12 is that it's just phenomenal.
Amplified?
Yeah.
That's not a bad three-car lineup.
I think that'd be a really great car. There's like none for sale right now, though.
Really?
There were several at the 80 to 95 range for a long time, several months. Those all got bought up in the last like 2 or 3 months. Since then, there's nothing. There's like 4 cars on the market, and the floor is 115.
So they hit that period of like people are realizing, and everyone's getting in a little early.
It's possible. It's either that or it's just really there's no low spec cars on the market right now.
Okay.
Because the lower spec cars are non-manuals, like the manual ones are 150 plus. So
the manual ones go for 150?
Oh yeah. You're talking about like one of the latest model year V12 Vantage or V12 manual cars you can buy.
That's actually pretty true.
Like name another 2017 V12 manual.
I don't think there is one.
I think it's the only one. So those cars do pull nice money because of that.
Because of the driving experience, I imagine it offers. I'd love to drive one of those fucking things.
Dude, I would too. And I wanted one for a while. Now it's like how I'm looking at things, I might leapfrog it, mostly because there's nothing on the market. So if I was going to make a move anytime soon, there's no sign that there's going to be another one at 90 anytime soon. I don't know. So I'm kind of stuck out of that because that was like, I'm going to jump to the V12. That's my next move. And now my hands are kind of tied. So I've been looking next step up. But
can we talk about that a little bit, or do you want to talk about that?
We can. Can we get back to it after? Because we're just talking about the C8.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got some issues with the C8 right now because I was watching Instagram and I just see this young entrepreneur kid, which is like more power to these people.
Yeah.
Go get your money. I'm thrilled.
Right.
But he's talking about like finally making some money. And it's like, what do I do? Do I get an M3? Do I get a C8? Oh, but so many people have C8s. And then it starts to click. Like all of these kids that just start making money, the ones that don't make like, you know, $300,000 or $100,000, 6 figures a month sort of course sales.
Right.
That just go straight to the Huracan or the SVJ. Like all of these people that start making 15, 20K a month when they're 22, 23, they all get C8s. And that's why when we were in Miami, there were C8s everywhere. Like it's the state bird of Miami.
And they weren't even, I mean, imagine some of the rentals, but a lot of them were like owned cars with guys with IG stickers on them. They modded them in their own way. Like we saw a freaking C8 with an SVJ wing in the back.
Yes.
And at that moment I knew, I go, this platform's cooked. I was like, this platform's done.
And another one that sounded cammed.
Exactly.
Well, apparently wasn't cammed.
Yeah, I know.
Some guy walked by and goes, you got a cam in that? And he was like, no, it's just an exhaust.
We're waiting at valet and the guy turns his car on. I look at Gavin and I go, does that sound cammed? And like 3 seconds after that happens, some guy walks up to the owner and is like, hey, is this cammed? I'm like, look how perfect timing is all that shit.
And he said no. I don't know. Maybe the kid just doesn't know what he's got because it sure sounded cammed.
Yeah. If you've ever been to Lake Havasu, that shit sounded like the channel if there ever.
I don't know how you get because I saw a video of another guy that cammed his C8 and that's how it sounded. I mean, that's what it sounds like. So I don't know what the deal was there, but dude, the C8s have, like, people talk about the Huracan being ruined, and like I hate this because I love the Huracan, I love the C8, like I love these cars. So it's not the fact that like the car's bad, it's just the people that ruin the cars.
So I think that's literally what I was going to say. As like there's a lot of cars that get ruined in the sake, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it depends on how did the car get ruined. So like I think the C8 and the Huracan fall in the same category. They got ruined because they're popular. Why are they popular? They're good cars. Accessible for the money.
Barrier to entry, as you like to say.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, baby, it's the truth.
Yeah.
The C8 is like the young aspiring kids Huracan. So like for all the mid-20s kids that would buy Huracans, they're the young 20s and late teens Huracan.
And they're ruining it.
They're ruining it. But at the same time, again, I can't blame them.
Yeah.
The problem is Lambo was never, at least Lambo as a company was never, the way you think about it, they were never planning on really, I don't think, making that many units, but I think the demand for Huracans was like that. GM is known for printing Corvettes.
Yeah,
so like the C8, they were like, we are going to mass produce this fucking model.
Right, but they've never opened up the market to old and young.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's always been primarily an older audience with like some young people would kind of get into it. But with, you know, the mid-engine we talked about, they've targeted a younger audience and they've capitalized. Because there's never been this many young rich people.
It's very true.
History.
It's almost like, now that I think about it, like I think this is gonna be kind of crazy. I think Lamborghini and Chevrolet or Corvette, whatever you want to use it as the moniker, have a lot in common. Mm-hmm. And I know it's kind of crazy to say, but like Lambo with the Urus, when that came out, everyone's like, what is going on here? And they knew exactly what they were doing. They were building a car for a specific market that they hadn't tapped into, and they built it, and then all of a sudden the car boomed, and now you see them shits like freaking CHRs and or HRVs. And then the same thing with Chevy. They built the Corvette, they changed it, and everyone's like, okay, well, they're doing it for just they can actually perform better. But in reality, they were doing it to attack a new market, and they killed it.
Yeah.
Both brands killed it with both cars, attacking a new market. Versus Ferrari is changing everything, building new models, trying to do whatever the hell they're doing, and I don't think they're very successful at it.
They just continue to they're going after older and older.
It's like, I don't really know, man.
Dude, I don't know. The Corvette, it's like the C8. It feels so ruined. It feels kind of cooked.
The base model.
The base model.
The base model, not the platform. The base model.
Right, not the platform. The ZR1 is going to be great, but even the Z06 is creeping into cooked.
It is,
because it's not like enough of a difference from. I mean, if you have the Z07 package,
yeah, you're
good. If you don't, you're kind of cooked.
Yeah. It's just more of an easy, again, it's one of those things where like it's an easy, accessible car. And again, it's when you look at it, it's the same thing we talk about Porsche. You know, we talk about everything Porsche, you can always find a better car at the price range.
Right.
The Z06 and the Corvette, it's hard to like, okay, take whatever Corvette it is, put in the price market, and then, okay, tell me what's a better car.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The only real reasons is the moniker, the brand.
Yeah. Like
when you buy a Huracan over a ZR1 because you want a Lambo. Mm-hmm. But if we're comparing the cars, what is really a better car?
Right. It's not even close.
Right. That's the whole thing. So it's kind of hard. Like when you're a young kid and you have a certain amount of money to buy something and you're looking at the big picture, like what is really the best car I could buy? And this debate at like a 70, 80K range, there really is no better car than a base C8.
Yeah. No, 100%. And it comes like, it's a great car.
Yeah.
And if you have one, good for you. Like you have an awesome car, super fun, great looking car. It's just the image. And I don't make these rules. I don't set the rules of the image of the car.
Right.
I'm just commentating on it. So,
That's it.
So sorry that's what it's become. But it's kind of ruined.
We kind of knew this was going to happen, I feel.
Right. It's kind of inevitable, but you can go get a V8 Vantage. It's not going to be as fast.
No.
But
can I say one Corvette thing before we go?
Yeah.
So by the time this episode comes out, in real time when we're shooting it, tomorrow, GM and Chevy are doing the release of the next Corvette tomorrow.
Already the Zora.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, so I'm testing it.
Huh?
They were testing it.
In Nuremberg. So here's the crazy part. Right?
Nürburgring.
Nuremberg. Berg. Ring. What did I say? Nuremberg?
Nuremberg. Nürburgring.
It sounds more German the way I'm saying it.
Okay.
Nuremberg. All right. So
9.
so what I'm hearing, okay, because everybody's known the rumor mill to be the Zora. But what I'm hearing through the deeper rumor mill is because if you watch the preview video that GM put out, at the end, it has an X emblem at the end. So I was thinking, I was like, what does Zora have to do with X? And you know me, I'm a history of the fanatic, right? So like I'm trying to think of what's the thing, and there's nothing. So I'm like, okay. And then I talked to somebody higher up in the GM world, and what they told me, what the speculation is it's not the Zora yet. Is they're coming out with what's called, and again, I'm not saying this was gonna happen. I think it's gonna be the Zora, but I'm just talking about what the rumor mill was.
Sure.
It's called the Z06X is what they're calling it. And it's before they do the Zora with the twin turbo LT7, that whole monster, plus the electric motors, they're doing the electric motors on the base Z06 setup first. So you're gonna get like literally Z06 with electric motors.
Instead of turbos.
So like the ZR1 has the Z06 motor with twin turbos.
Right.
That's all that it is. So then the Zora is going to be that crazy setup, but now adding electric motors in the front. This car, supposedly, before they get there, is in between. So like the E-Ray.
It's like, it's the Z06 E-Ray.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And it's supposedly called the Z06X. It'll do like 800 something horsepower. And then the 060, I don't know, because the base Z06 without it does 2.6. Mm-hmm. And the E-Ray does 2.4, which is faster than the Z06. But the top end on the Z06, because it has way more horsepower.
Jeez.
So if they do...
They're going to have more models than Porsche.
So that's the thing. So me and my old man were arguing about this today, because again, I told him, I think Corvette is trying to model Porsche's 911. Like they're really trying to do this with the C8. Milk every single version of the car for whatever person wants, whatever little different thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. I was like, dude, I think they are. And if you look at it, if they do that way, you'll have a base C8 with a 6.2 liter V8, and it's 6,800 red line. So we know how that car is engineered. It's not like the Ferrari S car. Mm-hmm. Then you have the E-Ray, which is the 6.2 liter with electric motors in the front.
Yep.
Then you have the base Z06, which is the Ferrari-like car.
Yep.
Then if they do the X, you'll have that Ferrari-esque motor, but with electric in the front.
Yep.
Then you have the ZR1.
So you have the 296 competitor.
Exactly, right there. Then you have the ZR1, which is the SF90 Revuelto Destroyer. And then they'll go one more as like a big just screw you to everybody else in the car world, and then slap the electric system in front of the twin turbo setup. And then I think the only car that could potentially compete is whatever the GT2 RS is, that we still have no idea what it's going to be. That would be pretty crazy. But they'll have what is that, 6 different models? 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 6 different models, which has never happened in Corvette history.
Right.
How many 911 models are there?
Dude.
Carrera 4S.
Well, so if you just do like
Carrera
the trims,
4S.
because the 4 is just, it's going from
drive.
rear wheel drive to all wheel drive. So you have.
Are we counting that?
I mean, let's just go basic flatline trips. You got Carrera, you got S.
Okay.
Technically, there's like a T variant.
Okay.
GTS, and then Targa would just be
the convertible version, or the little setup version. You have turbo.
So we're at 4. You got Turbo S, GT3, GT3 RS, GT2 RS. And then you have like GT3 Touring, 911 ST.
There's a lot of platforms for that fucking
And then there's
car,
a
man.
bunch of different little like special editions that are all like, we only make so many of them, but they're different. Like
Very
you've got
slightly.
the 911 Sport I'm like blanking. I used to know all these, but now there's so many. The one that's like the 911 Turbo with the manual. It's the most powerful manual they ever made.
I know what you're talking about.
And I'm like just totally blanking on what it's called.
It's okay. I don't care enough to know what it's called. So we're double screwed right now. We're double screwed right now. I just don't get how they do that. I don't get how they can make so many models like that and have the price hold such value too. It doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
how fast it climbs.
Really?
And what you get, like you're paying $220 for a GTS.
Think about that.
Well, I've thought about it. It's pretty wild.
That's how much MSRP should be on ZR1s.
Yeah.
Really think about that.
So you're going ZR1 versus GTS. That's your...
Or Turbo S, I think, is really what the fair one is.
Right. Because the Turbo S is more.
It is.
Turbo S is going to be 40 grand more than the ZR1.
Bro, like take the one that like got off of me. That's a 205 sticker. If there was no markup, that's a 200K car.
Yeah. The Turbo, not the Turbo S. The
Right.
Turbo starts at
Right around there.
205, right?
Yeah, something around there. That's the competitor there.
Yeah.
To be able to beat a Revelto in the quarter mile for 200K stock is mind blowing to me. But again, I guess we're not here to talk about Corvettes all damn day.
I mean, that's been what they've done the whole time.
Just,
What they've always done.
I
At
just
the end
think
of the
it's
day,
crazy.
It's a Corvette compared to a Revuelto.
Yeah,
You're not buying the Revuelto because it's that much. It's not
you're right.
$600,000 faster than everything else.
You're right.
It's a Lambo,
You're right.
the crazy one.
You're right.
Look at it on the road.
You're right.
It's wild.
I think the only thing is the last thing I'll say. I
Fighter
think
jet.
the only thing that amazes me is normally like the ZR1, it beats everything, and they're like, okay, yeah, it beats everything, cool. The fact that there's potentially gonna be another one even higher than that for the first time is what I'm really excited for. Because I think if it does what it's supposed to do, like I don't know, like how do you compare that car into the marketplace? Like if it does if it does 1,300 horsepower, under 0-60 in under 2 seconds, and let's say it comes like a 350K car. Like you're talking about a car that will rival hypercars.
Yeah, it's just like, well, rival hypercars where, right? You got to...
Right, performance
On a track, which is where you care.
No, it will rival hypercars in anything, any realm, except price point and I guess the imagery and shit. But
Right.
performance wise, I don't know. The market's never had that kind of car.
It's most of the time, it's almost all imagery.
Almost.
Which even then, you're talking about like, look at like a Koenigsegg Agera RS that does 287, right? Like this car did 233 and that was a top speed run, which is obviously plenty fast that anyone can go.
For 200K.
But when you hit 200, you have 33 miles, like 30 to 40 miles left in the tank.
Right.
Whereas the Agera RS, you have almost 90 miles that you can still go.
That's true.
That's why that, like, when you get up to those speeds, it's still pulling. It's wild. So is that still going to, like, have that effect? I don't know. The Agera RS is also a 12-year-old car. So...
I think the part that kills me is like
if not more.
I don't know off the top of my head because I'm not that weird about what the Agera has as the motor setup. What motor does it have in it?
V8 twin turbo.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's, I guess what I was going to say is invalid. Because I think for me, it was like thinking about a V8 twin turbo doing that. Because I always think of Bugatti when I think of the top speed runs. Like you're comparing a W16 to a fucking V8 twin turbo. I don't know. I'm thinking of the fact that I don't think the market has ever had, like I'm trying to rewind 5 years ago. And the hypercars that were popping at the time, and then the supercars that were popping at the time, the market's never had a car that can compete with $1 million plus price range performance wise for such a bargain.
Right, but $1 million plus price cars haven't been so a dime a dozen as they are now either.
Yeah, I guess
Think about how many cars are over $1 million. It's a joke.
Yeah,
it makes me sad.
It is sad.
That used to be like a wild pie in the sky, and now it's just like, hey, if you want to be anyone serious, that's now your price of admission.
That's fucking wild, dude.
So imagine it's like when the Revuelto like SV and SVJ comes out, it's gonna be $1 million sticker.
Yeah, it will be. And it's gonna be disgusting.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
It does.
In some ways. in a lot of ways.
I'm actually
I really
excited
should
for
be able
those
to.
two cars too.
Who isn't?
Because I think like what they've always done traditionally is like the power boost from those cars is nothing too crazy. Like you're looking at, like you get like 30 horsepower more from the Aventura
Yeah, it's
series.
never been a big power thing. It's usually just aero.
So I'm wondering what they're going to do this time.
But aero is, I mean, aero is,
It adds.
oh, tremendously.
It adds.
Aero is just as important as power, as you'll see in like any racing.
Yeah.
Um,
Aero, weight, and power.
yeah,
I'm curious.
huge aero tip makes a huge difference. It's the reason the GT3 RS does what it does around a track at 500 horsepower, because of aero. It's the reason McLarens are
Yeah.
so good at what they do, because aero.
Or that what's the name of that little
McLaren
car
came
that
out
just
and just crushed the aero game.
they killed it. If they just get reliability better, they'll be the number one brand. What's that little car that just beat the GT3 RS on the track? The one that has the video where like the car literally does like a round, the downforce car?
The Sperling.
Whatever that thing. Yeah, that thing with the downforce, man. That shit is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, that's like, what's it called? It's an electric car, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I don't know enough about it to know.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it?
electric, so it's like, it's 0 to 60 in like 1.6 seconds or something.
I just can't believe how it hugs that turn. Like it literally just, it defies
So,
the all racing logic.
I might be totally wrong here. Maybe I should double check it, but
No, say it wrong first. I love it.
okay. So, and now I'm blanking. Like these are things I just know on a normal basis, but you know, it's like you get put on the spot and it just leaves. So Gordon Murray, designer of the McLaren F1,
Yep.
was a Formula One designer. That's where he started. So he had this like thing in old Formula One cars where he designed where there was like a, basically like a fan on the bottom of the car that then went out the back of the car.
Okay.
So it creates an air suction. Because,
All the way back there.
Yeah. It's pulling air from a hole in the bottom of the car. So it's pulling the car down towards the track.
Simultaneously as it pulls
Right.
air in.
So like if you
Just
look at the
genius.
back of the Gordon Murray T50, it's got a literal fan in the back, and that fan is pulling air from under the car. So it's sucking the car onto the ground, right? So that was like old Formula One tech, which since has been banned because Formula One is now super regulated. You can't just do stuff like that.
It's become mainstream.
But I think the Sperling also has that
Okay.
technology integrated. I think. I'm either totally wrong. At least the T50 has it 100% because it's a Gordon Murray thing. But I think the Sperling has that too, where it's got this like the Gordon Murray sort of like fan suction, what's it called? Aerodynamic factor to it.
It's really a genius concept when you think about
And
it.
it's also tiny.
Yeah.
So
It is fucking a little tiny fucking thing.
it is a track toy. That's all it is. Something in between a go-kart and in a car.
I don't even think I'll fit in it. Like if I wanted one, I don't think I can fit.
It's one person, right?
I
It's a
think so.
one-person car?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm fitting in that thing. I don't know. Whatever.
But yes, yeah, it just totally looped around. It took the wide turn around the GT3 RS.
and then just passed it by. It
Yes.
passed that shit by.
Totally.
I don't know. We'll see. My biggest thing is what I think the whole point of where our conversation is going is I'm excited to see what the future generations of all these cars go, but I think we're getting close to a point of like what exactly can be done. Like how much farther can we push the barrier? Really? Like think about where we're at already. Like I was watching the dynamics like of the engineering breakdown of the ZR1 because I was wondering, I was like, how the fuck are they able to put 1,000 horsepower into a rear-wheel drive car and make it stick like that? And it's literally just them messing with the ECU to detune the engine in first gear and second gear to a certain degree so that it sticks. So like you have access to like 600 horsepower and then it unlocks and unlocks and unlocks. And I'm like, okay, that's probably part of the way. But then at the same time, it goes back to like, okay, you got 1,000 horsepower and it's only really usable in certain gears. So like we're already past the barrier of usable power now. So now it's more like it's more of like a statistics thing. Like the brands are becoming a way to be like, I can say that my car has these numbers.
100%.
I just think I'm trying to think of how far is it going to go.
Well, there's only certain brands that are even playing that game.
Yeah.
Because look at like McLaren's not playing that game.
Porsche's not playing that game.
And Porsche's not
They've
playing
never
that game.
played the game.
They've
never played that.
They're like, look at our aero. We're going to put insane aero and your car is going to have 800 horsepower and we're going to keep up with it somehow in the turns.
Yes.
You're going to smoke me on the straight and I'm going to catch you in the turns because our aero's whatever. Well, then they dial up the power with the GT2 RS and it's going to be, we've got the crazy aero and the power. So that's what's going to be awesome
Interesting.
to see.
Right.
And then McLaren has always played an aero game.
Always.
You look at their cars, they're obviously high-powered cars, but they haven't continued to just crank it up like everyone else because they don't need to.
Yeah.
Like, they're extremely fast, they're extremely capable, and they focus on aero. Look at the W1.
It's all
block
aero.
of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, it's all aero.
All aero.
Especially with that wing in the back.
It's crazy.
It's literally all aero.
It is crazy. So the more like video and stuff I see of that car, crazy aero.
You saw that video that came out of like the guy that did like the in-person little revealing of it?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, that shit looks awesome.
I'll have to check it out.
It looks awesome.
I just need them to come out with some different colors because the launch colors were not it.
What were the launch colors? The black and then the
black. Well, the black looked good, but the other one was like the orange, but there was too much two-tone black going on.
the one that was on this video I saw this video today is why I'm talking about it. It was like a black silver. Like in dark lighting, it looked black.
That was the black one
that was the black one.
Yeah.
And then with light, it got like a lot more silver. That car, my favorite part that surprised me was the interior.
Really?
It was all orange, like the launch. But when you see, it's like the first like actual just like video of it that I saw. When you actually see it, it literally looks like, because of the way it's the seats are engineered, it looks like just one giant ass like little seat. It actually looks really good when it's all one color. I don't know how to describe it to you, but it looks very crispy. Like I'm very excited to see that car in person.
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
Hot and ready sign out.
Yep. Chocolate glaze.
Dude, what a waste.
What? What do you mean what a waste? That's their best donut.
Classic glaze.
No, bro. Trust
100%.
me. You get aspects of the classic glaze with chocolate glazing on top.
Sure.
All right.
You know what's sad? They did a Fruity Pebbles donut for like a week.
Was it ass?
I missed out.
Oh, you didn't even get it.
No, I was in Japan when they ran it. I wasn't even in the country.
How are you that tapped in? That you even know I'm fat. I didn't even know. I'm not even that tapped in.
There is not a Fruity Pebbles edition of anything that happens without me knowing about it. All right. Instagram knows this kid.
This kid fucks with Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, 100%. Fruity Pebbles sent it his way. Sorry, that's definitely one of my things.
No,
But
it's all good. Where were we at? What were we talking about?
we were talking about just power and stuff like that. But
Let's go back on track.
so I'm potentially looking for a new car,
That's what I wanted to talk about.
which I don't know. Like, I'll kind of go into it. I don't know how much I want to go into it because it was like, for a second, I was like, I'm going to do this right now.
Right.
I'm going to get this done before Monterey. And then now I'm like, no, probably not. It's probably not going to happen before Monterey.
Let's do this. As you guys know, everyone who's been watching this show for a while, there's times where the guests will come on. And I think what Gavin and I do best is him and I have such a perfect blend of the car world. Like in reality, we are together the perfect car enthusiast if we combine both ends of the spectrum. So what you guys have seen happen before is guests will come on and we walk them through and talk them through what kind of car they should get. Because some people do come on conflicted. And even a lot of our viewers message us about the same exact topic. So in today's episode, for a portion of it, I'm going to be Dr. Murphy and we're going to talk to Gavin here about what he should probably get next. So let's start.
So
Who's in the room with you?
well, here's who's in the room with me.
Sorry, it's a therapy joke.
Oh, well, here's, jeez, OD. So there's what's it called? My disclaimer is that it'll probably be a few months at this point. So it is what it is.
It may be. We don't
But
know yet.
That's also how I usually rock. I kind of like obsess about a market for like a while before I actually make the move. So
Yeah, the amount of like listings that get submitted in the group chats before you actually pull a trigger is
which is
immense.
part of why I always get a great deal and I don't lose money on cars.
Very true.
Because I spend time to
You let the market
evaluate
come
the
to you.
market. Yes.
Yes.
If you're looking for a car and you want a car and you're like, this is the model I want, chances are the right deal for you is not listed today.
Absolutely not.
The right deal is going to come to you if you pay attention to the market. It's probably not on the market today.
100%.
If you got on the market, if you logged onto the market and the perfect deal for you on that model is available today, you got extremely lucky.
Very much so.
So, disclaimer there. Yeah, because the car that I'm looking for right now, there's nothing on the market that I'm moving on. Even if I could move, there's nothing that I'm going to.
Well, let's walk through
So the deal's
everything
not there.
step by step. What do you currently have for anybody that might not know, for whatever rare chance doesn't know what you have currently?
Currently, 2013 Aston Martin V8 Vantage.
Okay. And you absolutely love that car.
Yes,
Okay.
for the most part.
Your initial jump up, you were thinking what?
My initial jump up was going to be the V12 Vantage
Okay.
because it's like 90 grand.
Okay.
Those are like not really available. And I'm kind of like, how much more of a jump is 130? at that point.
Lending wise, not a ton.
Exactly. Lending wise,
Not a ton.
couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, like that opens me up to a lot more, and more potential. Anyway, so interesting. That price point, I'm fully tapped into that price point. I know it well. I know what I would get, what the options are, and like what fits me back to front. So I was like, you know what? Let's see how well ChatGPT would like pick cars for me. So I go into ChatGPT, which is everyone's favorite thing to do today, is talk about, prompts or whatever. I start telling it what I want. First of all, you gotta know what you're feeding it. Like,
it's
you can't just go, here's my price point.
No.
There's a million cars.
It's as powerful as the beholder.
Exactly.
Is what it is.
So I'm telling it my preferences, what I'm looking for, what the purpose behind it is, and this in 130 is the top price range. What are my options? It spit out all 3 cars that I would consider.
Like exactly what you already had in mind. It
Exactly
right
what I
where
would
you
have. Exactly what I would have in mind. I also had it rank them in like what it thought should be like top pick for me to the last, and the order that it gave me compared to what I'm feeling right now was not the right order.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Is
It
that
put something in the number 1 slot. I was like, that's not my number 1 right now.
well? Let's talk through it. Let's see. Is it telling you what you wanted to hear, or did it tell you what you needed to hear?
Probably more. I mean, neither.
Let's see what break it down. What did it tell you?
Okay, so 130. What's at 130?
Z06, obviously. You have older GT3s.
Z06, obviously.
It's what? It's
You're right. You're right. You do have a Z06.
Z06s, older GT3s. You have Audi R8s in that price range. For me, that's the top 3. You can throw some other BMWs in there. Some 570Ss in there. But I would stick to those 4. 570s, Audi R8s, GT3s, and the first one I named. Z06s.
So if you had to eliminate one of those for Gavin, what would you eliminate?
Like knowing what you like, or
knowing
being your best friend, knowing what you should get.
Knowing what I like. If I was to rank those 1 to 4, what would I put in the 4 slot? What gets eliminated?
Z06.
You're correct.
I know.
So ChatGPT gave me 570, 991.1 GT3, and R8.
Fuck ChatGPT. Okay.
So
it gave you in that order?
Yes.
Say the order again. Sorry.
No, it actually gave me 570, R8, 991.1 GT3.
Okay.
That's the order it gave him in. So 570 was at the top of the list because I told it, because also, I told it my preferences, and then it asked me more questions. How much do you care about? And I kind of leaned into the exotic.
Okay.
So it leaned to 570 because I was like, yeah, I want it to look exotic.
Doors go up.
Yeah, because it's like, do you want more exotic or classic? So
doors go up is a hard one.
it is a hard one.
That's a silent little factor that no one really talks about in picking a car. Because when there's options within the price range, like that slider has more weight than you think it would hold. I promise. I promise you.
Especially for us. The only problem is the 570 is sliding into that C8 Huracan.
It fucking is.
Kind of camp.
It is. I think it's in a worse camp. I think it's sliding into like Hellcat camp in a weird way.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I put it in between Huracan and C8. Like,
I don't know.
The C8 has become the bottom rung.
As an 812 owner, I look at 570s like Hellcat owners. That's just me being prejudiced.
Okay.
Being fair.
Pride and prejudice.
Fully transparent.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
It's like McLaren GTs. They're in the same category. Like if you have a McLaren GT, there's, again, we just named 4 cars. Like, why?
Right.
I look at the 570 the same way.
And that's another one of those cars that's so sad. It's so sad.
So much potential and so much, but just such
Right. It'd be such a fun car.
Such ass.
I would enjoy it. Yeah. If you gave me one for free, I'd drive it. I'd own it. But definitely a bad image in the like car people world.
Is that 130 now? I haven't checked that mark in a while. It's still higher than 130?
140 maybe. Damn. 140.
It's not the move. But okay, sorry.
Yeah. They've low-key held.
That's wild. I thought that those were going to go 100. Like,
Because
I thought the 570 would jump it.
When you were first looking, like 155 is what you were looking at.
Yeah.
They'd still be that. I mean, you would have ended up letting go of it wholesale for 135 to someone, but
yeah, which is kind of crazy now that I think about it. Because I think at the time when I was looking at it, but I went 458 instead. I think the one I was looking at was like 170, 180.
that would have been rough.
Yeah.
You would have lost some money.
Fuck me.
But Anyway, so those were the 3 cars, right? So I don't know. Do you want me to say what I rank right now?
100%.
Are we gonna?
We can use this as a benchmark if you make a later decision.
Are we
Months
gonna
from now, we have a
spoiler
benchmark.
what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Because I'm like heavy looking at this car now.
Well, let's talk about this. You haven't told the audience, what are you, let's say top 3 things that you're looking for. What are your 3 things in order? Because again, when we help people pick cars, we ask them the same thing. Mm-hmm. Do you want exotic look? Do you want performance? Do you want reliability? What are you looking for? Tech? What are things that matter to you?
First priority is just how the car feels and how it makes me feel.
The vibes. Understood.
The vibes.
100%.
So that's number 1.
High slider.
All 3 of those cars, I think, rank pretty high.
Pretty high on the vibes chart. I agree.
So there's no there's really no make or breaks on that scale. So next up would be value hold, probably.
Okay. I respect that.
And
you and I differ there. I respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
kind of in different situations.
I respect it.
If I'm spending 130 on a car, value hold now becomes more important.
I respect it.
Which was part of the reason I was started thinking I could make the jump. So there's a lot of logic that goes into it. But then after that, you've kind of got an exoticness would probably be next up, which then kind of leads 570.
We haven't even hit performance. You're in your top 3. Your performance hasn't even hit yet.
Oh, I kind of just, I guess, lump that under like driving feel.
Okay. That was lumped up in the 1. Because the way I look at it is like performance, sound.
Okay. You want to break it down like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel like those are all the things that matter.
Performance 1, sound 2, and then now like those affect how they make me feel. So what do you even say? So it's performance, sound, value hold, exoticness.
Like handling, reliability. Okay.
So yeah. I'm about to surprise everyone because we all know that we have said a lot of things about Porsche, and there was a good clip of me that did pretty well in the world of me saying my biggest problem with Porsche is that if you name a price point, I will always be able to find a car I'd rather have than whatever Porsche is in that price point.
I think what you meant by that is different than what's happening now. But I agree.
So?
I think so. I do. I think when you said it, because I remember the context we said it in, it was all about like the brand new models, like new pricing.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think it was just,
okay.
It was all Porsche.
Okay.
Because there was a time back then at 130, I would have been like, I'll take the 570 all day.
That's fair.
But today, dial the clock forward, I'd take it to GT3.
Over the 570 and the Audi R8.
Yes.
Do you realize besides Lambo and stuff like that, when we started this podcast, besides obviously like Lambo being the dream car for us to own, Audi R8 used to be like that's the one, like the one before the Lambo, that's the car. Mm-hmm. And now you're at a point where you can buy one. And you're like, that's not even like, it's become such a, that's mind blowing to me.
Yeah. So, and are you ready for this? Because this is, one, shout out Chance.
Yeah.
Chance, you're the man.
Chance the shooter.
Chance the shooter. We're in Miami. And he goes, dude, I just want to, we're talking about what he should get, and we're talking through it.
Yeah.
Me and Destin talking to Chance about what he should get.
All the options. Guys being dudes.
Exactly. We're in the pool chatting up about what car Chance should get. We start walking down the price points, all that stuff. And we get to the 991 GT3. He didn't realize you could get one for like 130. So he then he's like, dude, that would be crazy. Maybe that's the move, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts making the noise of the exhaust, and he does this noise perfect. He just, wah, wah, bah, 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 bah. And something about it in my mind just like clicked. I was like hearing that noise behind me and like the control that machine has, like you're connected to that car. It does exactly what you want it to do.
Full race exhaust setup.
Oh, full exhaust setup.
That has to be said for 100%. Everybody. It has to be said.
Has to have full exhaust setup.
Yes. You cannot buy that car stock and then have what Gavin's talking about. Please don't get that confused.
You best believe I'm getting an exhaust. It's going to be tuned.
You need full exhaust and tune.
It needs
for that car to be.
It needs to sound like wah, 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 when you're hitting the rev limiter doing donuts. So
right.
When he just like explained the experience in words, it's like my body went to the front seat of the GT3 at $130,000 and lived that experience and went, wow, that's a way better experience than I'm going to get in the R8 and probably the 570 as well.
570 for sure. I can agree with that.
570 more too is just like value and reliability.
Yeah, value hold and reliability.
Value, hold, and reliability. I don't know where the 570 you're going to get at 115 and you're going to sell for 95.
Yeah, we don't know where that market might tank. We don't know.
The GT3 is the gold bar of cars. You get the car, you drive it, you sell it for what you bought it for. It's like owning a Submariner. It's just like,
it's very true.
You just get into it, you use it. When you need the money, you sell it.
Yeah, it's a store of value.
Yes,
it's a very good store of value.
It's just a savings account you can drive. So there's not many cars that are like that, and we hate on it all the time because that's the way it is. But it is the way it is.
Yeah.
And like, if I'm going to pick one of those cars, well, that car at $130,000 is the best option. I don't know if there's any other price point where I'd pick a Porsche other than the $130,000 mark, but that's where we're at today. And then we're going to wrap it in our custom color.
Yeah. Got a custom color, guys, in the way. Some stuff in the works. I'm excited for you guys to see that. Gavin just gave a little teaser. Some more details coming to that soon.
I'm not giving any details.
Little teaser coming soon.
That is just the teaser.
I think so. Before, I would argue with you about the R8 GT3, like what is really a better experience. I think I'll give it to the GT3 because I think, like, again, that car, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not a Porsche fanatic, but that still follows the same 9,000 red line as all the other GT3s. Mm-hmm. So I think that, with, of course, saying that it's going to have exhaust and tune, I think the only thing
I like to drive.
Yeah, I think that would be the only thing that, for me, because again, we're two different people, which is the beauty of this podcast. Because again, that's your pick at that price point for what you like, and then I'm also talking about it, but I'm talking at it from my perspective onto you. So, like, I think you're right. Audi R8 second to that, no question. I think the only thing that, again, I don't want to say it because it's just hard for me. Like, I can't not talk about the car in this price range and compare the two. I just can't.
To the Z06?
I can't. Yeah, like, I just, like, it's like itching me to not say it.
Okay.
I just can't.
So the number one problem with the Z06 on the scale where it really is going to lose is value hold.
Right now.
Because
we don't know.
Because they're falling.
We don't know where the floor. We don't know where the floor is.
We don't know where the floor is.
We don't know where the floor is.
But my risk of losing 20 grand on the car is
higher than the GT3.
Significantly higher than the GT3.
I agree.
GT3, I could make 5 grand.
Yeah, I agree.
My downside on that car is maybe 5 grand.
I agree.
Like, on the high end, I lose 5 grand.
No, I agree. I think
on the Z06, I'm basically guaranteed to lose 5 grand.
Yeah.
At least, at the minimum.
Yeah, because retailing that car is not going to do anything for you. It's like you're going to have to trade it in. Mm-hmm. Versus GT3, you can actually retail it and be like, I can get out of this retail.
Yeah, you can private sale that car so easy.
The Z06, no private sale. There's fucking a million dealers that have better deals.
Exactly.
So I guess, again, it goes back to what you put as an important aspect of picking your car. So like for you, store value being so high, it's hard because Porsche, one thing that it's aligned with is store value. There's no question. So if you have that high, Porsche becomes a way more attractive car.
You mean to piss you off?
Piss me the fuck off, please.
Even if you said, hey, both of these cars, whatever you buy them for, you're gonna lose 10 grand on the car. You're gonna lose the same amount of money. I'd still take the GT3.
Well, you can go fuck yourself. So that doesn't make any sense then.
Store value out the window, I still take the GT3.
How? In what world?
Dude, it's a GT3 compared to a Corvette. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay, so you'd rather have a 2014 GT3 over a 2023 or 2024 Z06?
A what?
A 2024
yes
Z06 over a 2014 GT3.
Low key.
Yeah. Why? Tech alone, you're tripping. You can take the damn top off the Z06. It's a built-in convertible.
I know.
What do you mean you know? There's no way.
Dude, the Z06 is more than likely a better car. But there's just a perception.
Okay, so that I knew you were going to fucking say that. I knew that. Okay, if we're taking store of value out, take perception out. We're talking about the car.
Why can we take now perception? So now you're just, all right, we're taking some of the most important factors out.
Perception and store value?
Car to car.
Yeah, car to car.
Nothing else matters. No one ever sees you in this car.
It's you. You're picking it, so it has to matter.
This car was a gift, and no one ever sees you. It doesn't matter. This is just for your driving.
Anybody asks, I didn't purchase it. I was gifted to me. That type of shit.
I don't know. I'd honestly, and you're still going to hate me for this because I know on paper the Z06 destroys it on paper, but I'd have to drive them.
You've driven the Z06.
It's been so long, but yeah.
That's fair.
It's been really long.
And I got an exhaust on it now, which does low-key change. It is fun now. Again, it was fun before, but like it's even heightened fun.
I'd have to drive both cars, but
we can do that. We can set that up easily.
Yeah.
So like you know why Chance knows the damn noise of that car so well?
Why?
Because when that vlog we filmed where I rode him in Misha's.
Oh yeah, Mish.
I ripped that thing. Well, not only were we driving with Mish, so obviously, and then Chance and I got into it, and when we ripped it together, again, it was cool. It was a fun driving experience. Again, cool. But just for me, it just doesn't do it for me. Because you know why? And I think this is part of what goes against us. Even though it's 9,000 redline.
We need to make a video comparing those cars.
Like what, the Z06 and G3?
Yeah,
okay.
like a straight up comparison.
Done. Misha and I have the Z06.
Exactly.
Done.
Misha's gone for who knows how long.
You don't think Jaff has access to his car? His car, you know where his car is? Okay, you want to know where his car is at? Yeah, he can pull this shit off. Misha makes one phone call. Hey, these guys are going to take it off. We can make that happen. That's not a problem. I promise you.
Sure.
I think the problem, and this is where I think you and I differ tremendously, and why it's hard. Yeah, Jaff make it happen. The sound, like you're thinking the fact that the 9,000 redline full exhaust setup on the GT3 sounds fantastic because it does in its own lane. For me, I don't care what it sounds like. It still sounds like a flat six. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the part that I don't like.
And for some reason, you don't like the sound of the flat six.
I don't because it doesn't sound.
I don't
right.
like the sound of the turbo flat six.
Okay,
but
I don't like the sound of a lot of turbos in general.
But But I like the sound of the GT3s. I'm a fan of.
Like I am in this order. If I had to rank them, like flat six, V8, NAV8, NAV10, and NAV12.
Well, it all depends on the car, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like for me, exactly. Like I'm becoming a V12
my car is
enthusiast.
an NAV8, but it's nowhere near the GT3.
That's true.
Flat six, not even close.
I don't even think I've ever heard your car ever in the world with like a full exhaust setup. Do they even make a full exhaust setup for that car?
Oh yeah,
they do.
You can get a lot.
Do they sound nasty?
I tried to get one
from
a company.
Yeah,
I was hitting them up, trying to get a little deal, a little build deal, make some videos,
a little marketing,
and then they're like, yeah, we'll check with marketing. Followed up, just totally ghosted me.
It is what it is.
Makes me sad.
It's okay.
I just wanted a free exhaust. What's so bad about that?
I guess
they do like
point.
Headers, X pipe,
the full thing,
front to back, full thing.
I think
that sounds crazy.
You have a point, but I think for me, I'm going to die on that rock. The flat six noise as loud as you can make, because that's like again, even the new GT3 RSs, like they make them loud as hell with the like Valvetronic makes a crazy exhaust for it. Cool. Even R1 makes that RSR exhaust fantastic.
I love the pitch of it though.
See, that's what I don't like. Like I don't like it.
It makes that sound. It makes a very race car sound.
See, that's the thing. So like you have the V6s in like the F1 technology and stuff like that. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
It doesn't sound like a V6.
So then what do you? Okay,
it's
so
got
it's
its own sound. It's a very unique sound. It's really high pitched.
It doesn't do it for me. It just really doesn't. Like kind of like Corvettes don't do it for you. The sound of the flat six doesn't do it for me.
Because I mean, someone will probably end up proving me wrong with some obscure model. With a Japanese exhaust on it or something.
Yeah.
But you're not going to find a V6 that sounds like a GT3. That flat six engine makes its own sound.
Yeah, that I agree with you.
And it's high pitched and it screams and the way it revs is awesome.
I agree with you.
So I'm all here for that car. So that being said,
I don't support his decision, but I have to support his decision.
And what I also hate is this is pretty recent, like 2 or 3 months ago in our episode. We were talking about Porsche and you looked at me and said, I think you're going to have a Porsche sooner than you realize.
Bro, because I know you and everything you talked about is I know you care about. So like when you really look at who Gavin McDaniel has become.
Now I'm just going to eat those words.
It's all right, baby. It's okay.
It is okay.
It's okay.
Because when I have this GT3 wrapped in our color.
Yep. I can talk as much shit to you and you're going to go, I don't care.
So here's the other thing. Oh. And it's sad that this is the world we live in. But we have a car podcast. So
very true.
Our imagery matters. And at the end of the day, I want to say, I want this car because it's an awesome car.
Right.
Not just for the image.
Right.
But like us doing things, us going and doing things, everything in between, pulling up in a 570 compared to pulling up in an R8, compared to pulling up in a GT3, the GT3 is going to be the highest image in the car world.
Yeah.
amongst our
Enthusiasts.
listeners and people that pay attention to us.
I agree.
So there's like an element of validity there.
Yeah.
That car brings more so than the R8 and definitely the 570.
I think anybody that says that they make a car decision without adding a little bit of that in is full of shit.
Because like
I don't care who you are.
Yeah. Because like Eric's 570, I would take all day long.
Yeah, it's clean.
And I know Eric would definitely give me some serious hate for.
The GT3?
Yeah.
I agree. Him and I stand similar on that stance.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just like, it's the way of the world.
I also think it's going to be cool because, like, how do I describe it?
But also maybe I get it. I have it 6 months. I hate it. And then I just go back to like, all right, we lived it.
Yep. It's store value. You can safely have that experience knowing that if you don't like it, you can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus all the other cars, you're like, fuck, I don't like this. And now I'm kind of stuck in it because I don't want to lose 10, 15 grand in it.
All I'll lose is my interest.
That's it. It's not a bad choice. I'm going to drive the shit out of it when you get it, which I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I think more so the reason why that car is so fantastic for you is you're going to be able to modify it the way you want to if it does. You don't buy one that's already comes how you want it. And like the content, you're my honest opinion, I think you're going to get that car and then everything's going to pop off for you and you're not going to get rid of that car. Like, you're not going to take that car and go, okay, what's the next leap? Like, you're going to make enough money to be like, okay, I have a GT3. I like my GT3. I'm going to go get another car. Yeah. That's my opinion. Because
I'd have to get another house first because I'm quite constricted.
That's just a conversation with Meg. That's all that it is. Baby
Meg,
girl,
we can
listen.
we can lift the garage door. We'll put a lift in here.
Yes.
The GT3 will go up top.
Yes.
The 600 LT will slide right underneath.
Listen, here we go. The Volvo can sit outside. It's
Volvo.
fine.
We're in a Macan Turbo now.
Has Meg ever expressed desire for a specific car? That's a genuine question. I don't think I've ever asked that.
No.
Never. Like, she doesn't have like one thing that she's like, yeah, like I would like this. Never.
No.
Never? Interesting. I was just a question.
Yeah. She doesn't really care.
That was
She loves her Volvo.
That's it.
Yeah.
I respect that. You got a good one.
Yeah.
You got a good one.
So if I put her in a Macan, she would love it.
Yeah, she would love that shit.
But she likes tiny SUVs. That's why I say Macan and not
Not a Cayenne.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Cayenne would be the eventual children car.
Upgrade to it?
Yeah. But at first, like, we were just doing a swap today. It would be Volvo for Macan GTS. Macan GTS is kind of smooth.
Super smooth.
Those are like 115 new.
Are they really?
Yes. Which is crazy.
That is outrageous.
Then 115 on a Macan is...
disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Like, with an X6M, where it's at and what you get for it.
That girl has
can't
the
imagine.
richest of dads.
Oh my God, that shit is so fucked.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's fucked.
That girl just turned 18 and her dad is in private equity.
Super, 100%. He's the commodities manager at BlackRock. So, what's our next thing?
I don't know who else is buying that car.
Nobody.
I'd buy a used one at like 70.
Nobody.
For Meg, but
Well, it's so like what those cars is. Okay, we can segue this. So I call that car a part of a block of cars that I just consider housewife cars. Prices matter. They're usually lease deals.
But the thing is, that's a car. You can't have kids with that car. It's too small.
Housewife car.
That's why I say daughter. Because housewives, like the guy that makes enough money before they have kids in their 20s to like get the car.
Okay, fine. Sugar baby car.
Ah,
Is that better?
that's more fitting.
That's
for
a
sure.
better name for it.
Yeah.
Like, when I think sugar baby car, I think of G63s. I think of Macans. I think of Range Rover Sports. I think of now. I think of Uruses too. What else?
I think that's a rich poppy.
Yeah, GLE 63Ss, X5Ms. That's kind of what I think of that falls in that range.
Yeah.
So, like, in my opinion, like the reason that car market works and why it exists is because you got somebody who can afford it. It's a laughable payment for somebody that can afford it. The girl is a nice car. She doesn't know exactly what she's driving. Who gives a fuck? Mm-hmm. It's a lease deal. So there's a problem. She calls him. Hey, my car's not working. Take it to the dealer. I don't give a fuck. In 2 years, I'll get a new one of you and I'll get a new one of the car. And we just run it. And you just cycle it like that. So that's why they work. That's why they move off shelves.
But what it is, because that car, if you look at that car, there is no other small SUV in that price range. There's nothing even close. Like, that is a small SUV. You're talking like Audi Q3,
Yeah, I'm thinking
Volvo XC40,
RAV4.
BMW X1. Like you're talking small SUVs.
Is that an X1 or is it an X3 competition?
X3, maybe X3.
X3?
No, the X3. Yeah, yeah, maybe X3.
Because X5 is the standard SUV. So I think X3 is like the
X3. Yeah.
Is there not a fucking thing in that price range?
GLC.
Yeah, GLC.
So like GLC AMG is probably the next thing up, and those are 80.
We don't think the
They're like 80.
GLE 63S is a competitor?
Not the GLE.
No?
It's bigger. GLE was Cayenne size. Sorry, not Panamera. Cayenne size. Cayenne, RSQ8.
Yeah, there is nothing in that price range.
There's nothing that's
There's
115
nothing.
that's a small SUV. The GLC,
Shit.
the GLC AMG is the closest, and it's like 80.
There's shit. It's shit.
What?
No, that price range and how that's Porsche literally going, we're going to move this car. We know we're going to move this car. Fuck everybody. We're just going to do it. And they move it. And that pisses me off. I don't know why. It just does.
Macan GTS.
Macan GTS is fucked. Whatever. Who cares?
But
What's our next topic?
it's a good question.
I know you had a plethora of topics you wanted to cover.
Yeah, I mean,
We could sit here and talk GTSs all day, but I want to get to some meatier bones and stuff like that that you wanted to cover.
because we got time to tease some things later. So, I did want to say, do we want to go into that? Okay, we've kind of talked about this, but how much you actually need to make to own a supercar?
Okay.
Um,
How much you need to actually make?
because I've seen different clips of people asking. I feel like it's more like they ask finance sort of Instagrammers this question: how much money you need to make to like own a supercar? And they're like, well, how much is it? Oh, I mean, at $250,000, and you take the 10% rule on whatever, and then it's like you need, and then they do this math, and if you do the 10% rule on a Huracan, you need to be making $800,000 to own a Huracan.
Yeah, it's the dumbest shit ever, bro.
And the amount of Huracan owners that make $800,000 is probably such a low ratio.
It might be zero. Like it might be fucking zero.
Right. Because if you make 800, you can get something better.
You're laughing. You're not getting a Huracan.
So, when I see these clips, I just think, or just realize, traditional finance ratios and tools don't work for supercars
They don't.
because they don't follow the same depreciation curve as these luxury vehicles that you're usually looking at.
Correct. Especially if you know what you're doing and you follow like our guidelines that we normally put out for people.
Right.
They're completely different than the asset class that they get subcategorized through to traditional finance douchebags and everything else in between.
Right. You need to make a lot of money to go buy a new S-Class at 120 grand because it's going to be worth 60 by the time you sell it, and you're going to have lost $80,000. But you can go buy a Huracan for twice the price, and you're going to lose like $20,000. So you're going to lose a fourth of what you would have.
You might not
on
even
the
lose.
S-Class. You might not even lose.
You might not even lose.
You might not. I mean, you'll probably lose your interest on your payments, but
Right.
you might not even lose.
You might not even lose.
So the 10% rule that was made for the S-Class that loses $60,000 in value, you can't actually use for the more expensive car that only loses $20,000 in value.
Correct.
That 10% rule goes out the window.
Correct.
It's pointless. It doesn't work. There's dudes making 250 grand driving Huracans and living in an apartment.
Yeah.
And it's not
Especially
because
of all the new financing dynamics that have entered the supercar world. It just makes, again, the barrier to entry less.
It's not even it's really not even a bad financial decision.
It's not.
And most people I'm sure people people are going to think that's wild to say living in an apartment and driving a Huracan is not a bad financial decision. But if you're a young single dude and you want to keep your expenses low in that, and you're down to throw $2,500 to $3,000 on your Huracan payment, and you can afford that, by the time you turn around to go sell the Huracan later, you're not going to lose that much money.
Ready? I'm going to lay it all out real quick. Exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Single dude, young 20s, apartment, Huracan. Okay? Huracan. You're not going to lose a lot of money on it. It's going to be reliable. It's not going to give you a lot of maintenance problems. Okay? It's going to put you in a lot of rooms and doors that you were not going to get into before. Okay? On top of that, it's a relatively manageable payment and nothing crazy down if you use a financing structure that's out now, like a lease structure. Okay. Apartment. Everyone talks shit. Okay, you're going to have a supercar and you live in an apartment. Okay. When you're a young male, okay, I would not recommend going out and buy a house. I would recommend buy rental properties. And on top of that, when you live in an apartment and you're running and gunning and everything else between, do you know how amazing it is to, if something breaks in your apartment, I literally just go and I got to put a service request in. My mind, I don't even think about it. Fridge breaks. Fuck it. I don't want to spend $2,000. Just fix it. Going back to the Huracan aspect of it. If you are a single male, young 20s, and you have a business, no question go buy a Huracan.
Yeah.
No question go buy it.
You ready for
No
this?
question. Hit me.
Here's a comparison. If that dude lives in an apartment and has an M3, no one's going to blink twice and say, what are they doing? Why don't they buy a house?
Correct.
Same kid, lives in the same apartment, has a Huracan instead. Now people are asking questions. Those two cars, I mean, the Huracan still will probably lose less money than the M3.
Not probably. It will.
At the end of the day.
It will lose less money.
From purchase to sale, the Huracan's going to lose less money than the M3 will.
100%.
So the kid in the apartment with the Huracan is actually making better financial decisions than the kid with the M3. The kid with the M3 probably couldn't qualify for the Huracan.
That's
probably
the biggest thing.
Problem one. But if the kid could, he's going to lose less money on the Huracan. Then go get like a Corolla or something.
Exactly. That's the way that I think is like, if you're not going to do it to that scale, no.
There's better options.
Like a reasonable car.
Yeah.
A reasonable daily.
Like an old Audi, you know?
Yeah, something like that. If you're going to get to a point where you're going to make the leap like that, you either do it to the grand scale or you don't do it at all, is the way that I feel. Or again, if you're trying to do that, like, I just think there's a decision to be made, like, and this, I'm not trying to throw this all back to it, but it's just my relatively like comparison. Like, if you're going to go up to Huracan level, it's very doable, especially if you do like a lease structure. Cause like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that same kid. What is his actual barrier to entry? What is his down needed? And then what is his monthly going to be?
Yeah.
For the Huracan, that's a better financial decision.
The down's going to be harder.
That's going to be the hardest part.
Doesn't have a lot of car, whatever. He might, you might know better than me. He has to put like 80 down. So the thing 60?
Is, so I think the thing that goes with it, obviously the down's going to be hard because the down is the hardest part about buying a car. But I think like it goes into two things, because I think if you're going to do it for a store of value to not lose money, the lease structures are not necessarily the best way to go about it. Just because, again, the way that they're structured. But in terms of having a least amount and getting the best bang for your buck, it's the best way. But you can do, depending if you get approved, obviously getting approved, you can do probably like, I would say 50 to 60 down on a Huracan, and your payments right around $2,500 a month. Mm-hmm. It's not terrible. But again, you're doing that, and that's probably not going to put you in the best position on your exit.
Right.
You can get into it, but not on your exit. If you're doing like a traditional buy, this is the best question is, what does your history look like? If you've never bought a car before, you are not going to go be able to get it by a Huracan for a financially savvy decision.
100%.
Your down payment is going to be way too high. Because at that point, if you have that much money to put down on a car like that, because I think first time buyers, the max a bank will loan you on a traditional buy structure, the max, $50K, maybe a little more if you're lucky. Mm-hmm. There's no way with first loan.
Yeah, you got to buy some cars.
Yes, you got to play the game.
Yeah,
you got to play the game.
You got to buy a car, you got to hold it for a certain amount of time, you got to sell it, then move to the next one and kind of work your way up. But if you do that, you can do that, and you can have a Huracan on $20K a month.
Yeah, I played this game. I did exactly this. I bought the silver C8 that we started this fucking podcast with. That car was, when I bought it, it was $85,000 because I bought it over MSRP. That was when they came out, and those were still going a little over, but I was just so gung happy. I was like, I want this car, right? Mm-hmm. I put half down on that car. So I put like 40 grand down. My payment was like $700 a month. It was laughable. Mm-hmm. But again, I wanted the car, and I was like, what can I get lent? I had one comparable auto loan, but my loan was like $15,000 on my Yukon that I used to have at school. Not that really that comparable. So they were like, okay, you got to put this much down. And me being an idiot, I was like, I want it. I'm do it. Did it. Very happy that I did that. Kept that car for all the time that I did. Got rid of it. And then from there went to the G550. That was the next purchase after that. And that was, I think that was like 75 or 80 down on like 150. So they didn't be double. So I got 40 lent, and then I got 80 lent. And then from there, Z06 is under my old man's name. So I didn't have to do that. He was his quality, his credit and everything like that. And then the McLaren was next after that, because the 458 was all cash. The McLaren, again, same thing. They lended me, I went to school's first credit union. This is also another tip or trick we talk about. Building a relationship with a bank, right?
Yeah.
I got to a point where I was like, okay, I want to start building a relationship with a bank, right? I picked schools first. They're a great credit union, right? I went to them and they could just have like an apply section. How much do you want? I threw out $200K. I just said, fuck it, I'm going to try it. I own some buildings now. I'm going to see what's going on. Threw it out there. I got the letter back from them and I read, unfortunately, comma, and I went, fuck me. Like I didn't even get approved at all. And I finally kept reading. It was like, we did not approve your request for $200,000, but we are giving you 140. And I was like, all right, bet, lit. So my 720 was 240. So I ended up putting 100 down on that car. But I went from $40,000 loan to an $80,000 loan to $140,000 loan. Now I'm at a point where I'll get anything I want. But it took me paying all those down payments and everything else between to get to a point now where I can hack anything because I'm qualified as a buyer enough to do so. You're talking about realistically to pay your dues, the G550 and the C8. The McLaren, that's kind of what you would be at normally. Yeah. But my payment on the 720 was $2,200 a month, which is laughable now compared to what I've paid for other cars and or pay for one right now. This is the game story right there.
Yeah. You got to roll it up.
You got to play the game.
You can usually do that. You buy the right car at 50, however long, get the next car around 100. Next thing you know, get in a Huracan.
I think the biggest thing for like younger kids and what the whole point of what I'm saying is like, if you're gonna be in the car game and you know you're going down that line, don't be afraid to buy something that you might not be like, oh, I don't really want this right this second, but buy it as a structure. Like I think the problem with now we live in this all day long is social media. Like when you're 16, it's Huracan or why do I have any other car? Because everybody compares himself to everything that's going on. Don't be afraid to get the BMW that's $50,000 or your old Corvette that's $50,000, like a C706 as a starter car. That's a hell of a starter car that you can start building your history with.
Yeah.
It'll hold its value and it's freaking awesome for the money.
Or go get a V8 Vantage.
Yeah, exactly. And build your history up.
$50,000. You can go get a loan for it.
Easy.
And it's not going to hardly lose any value.
Exactly. Like you could, if they'll give you 40K.
Awesome.
It will look awesome. It will look awesome. And then you work your way up from that. Everybody just wants to go from here to here.
Right.
And if they don't, they feel like a failure. That's not how it works. Play the game, take your time, because you will reward yourself 4 or 5 years from now. You've been sitting on your thumb and you haven't done any moves. And now you got more money, but you're like, I can't still get loans. Instead of actually going through the process, in 4 or 5 years when you're older, you have money and you have a network, you'll be able to do anything you want. Or you can just call us.
You'll enjoy the process along the way.
Exactly. Something that I think I missed out on tremendously, but
yeah, you jumped to an Aventador like tough move.
I know.
Well, what do you want to tease?
Oh man.
Or what do you want to reveal?
So, a lot of you guys have been asking for a while, and me and Gavin have been in the stew, literally cooking up some crazy shit. We are going to be launching what we're calling the SCC Collective. So you guys notice we talk a lot about how to buy a car correctly and everything else between. We are going to be teasing right now. I don't want to give too many details. Building something for you guys that's going to be tailored to that. Not only that, bringing more of a community aspect to the podcast, because we want you guys as fans included more into the things that go on here, because we appreciate you guys very much. That's going to be coming pretty soon here.
Yes, very soon. So Stay tuned for those updates. Anything else or no?
No, that's it.
All right.
Is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't know.
I don't know. You're giving me that look like if I'm missing something.
I mean, we might be buying and selling some cars soon.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Yes. So yeah, you want to say that part? I said the SC Collective part. You can say this part.
Well, SUPERCAR Connection is now a dealer.
Officially.
So, licensed dealer.
Yes.
So we will be buying and selling cars.
And
at a high level. So just be ready for this. This is all going to take off. You've seen some crazy dealers go from nothing to top tier in short time frames, and we're going to be going aggressively after that. We've heard
100%.
We've talked to so many people about car buying, and we've heard so many horror stories about it. Dude, it's crazy how shady things get, especially when you start talking about cars of this value.
100%.
And it's like you got someone who's who's writing you a check for $400,000, and you're just like low key totally screwing them over. So we don't want to do that.
You guys have like come to learn this podcast, and Gavin and I have not only You guys have seen us grow as individuals over a couple of years. But one thing we've been, and with our guests, we've been very fully transparent with everything that goes on in this world. But we've gotten to a point where we've noticed the two biggest things that's wrong with this level of car world when it comes to the dealer side is nobody gives enough of a fuck to actually treat you like a human and follow up with you, which I can't fathom coming from my own business is a service-based business, and I take pride in how much service I give people. And two is the aspect of, I just completely blanked, is what you just said, the screwing people over. So yeah, the trust, my bad. Sorry, I had a blank right there. Those two things are the exact pillar that SUPERCAR Connection is building its empire on. Trust and care. If you're actually looking in the car market and you actually want someone to talk to, and maybe you're someone that doesn't know exactly what they want, kind of like we just did in this episode and we've done for other guests, reach out to us. We will help you not only get the car, we will help you figure out what is best for you. Like ChatGPT can, but ChatGPT ain't Gavin and it ain't Joe Murphy. I promise you that. So our touch on everything based on our network experience and just pure knowledge of everything, that's what makes us not only valuable, but our care for you and having trust in the space, because the fact that what some of the stuff we've seen, like Gavin said, is unfathomable to me. So we are officially entering the space. And if you're in the space, please watch out because we are coming for you. And that's a promise. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I had to get my 2 cents in there.
Yeah, of course. No, that's it. Thanks
a wrap?
for listening. If you're still listening to this, just hit like. It's easy. It takes 3 seconds. Subscribe if you're not. We appreciate you tuning in to SUPERCAR Connection.
That's it. It's Gavin and Joe. We're out.